Okay, good, good, good. Woo! I am streaming this from a remote location. Let's see if we got it going on OBS. All right, let me check it out over on the U of Tubes. This is the first time I tried this. I'm streaming over 5G, so we're going to see if this actually works. Hey, Jeremiah, what's up? Well, I am in remote Georgia, so not too far from Chattanooga, but I'm actually at my alma mater. This is a college that I went to right after I graduated high school called Emmanuel College, a private Christian college here in Northeast Georgia. Let me check my connection. I'm on my internet from my phone. It's the first time I've done this, but so far it's looking, got a little bit of red and stuff like that. Let me see if I can change anything to make it better, and then we'll get started. I felt like today I really had to do a stream. Let me make sure that I'm capturing it on. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Even if it is a little jumpy. It looks like you got me there. Let's see here. Might need to try to change the. Okay, it's going to be. All right, you guys are probably going to experience some buffering, but we'll get through it. All right. So let's jump into it while I still have it. All right. So if you guys got questions, go ahead and get them in. But yeah, today the SPY basically got down to a level that I've been marking off for this week. Talked about it on Discord. That's what I made the screenshot of. But basically, let's just go back to the starting point. So as you guys have been watching my videos for a while, I follow volume profile. And so if you go from this last leg that we had back in April of this year, that was the last pullback that we had. Now, what I say is that every given year, statistically speaking, you get 2 to 3 minus 5% or greater pullbacks. Well, what we got and what I've been looking for is exactly, well, not exactly, but the bottom today was at 6.39%. A lot of people have been asking me the last week, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? The problem was we hadn't really hit that 5% threshold quite yet. And so that's what I've been waiting for. All right. And so we finally hit that today. That's also, it just barely kissed that SPY 529.08 level. And that's what I've been looking at for just basically since this pullback began. 529.25. All right. Roundabout. So, wow, that's perfect. That translates into the same level that it hit about 5,400 ES. It's the S&P 500. That's also this these volume profile levels right here. Let me clean this up a little bit. This is from trying to day trade and pick up a scalp this morning at this level. And so one thing I did is I added to VU. Yeah, so that's that level basically in here. There's a lot of different levels on ES, but really that's why I was keying off of SPY. And so no reason to panic. Let me just make that a point, okay? I think that this is basically the pullback that we've been looking for, the second one of this year. Hashtag not financial advice, but that's what you need to presume. Now, why is this happening? There's news, there's some more, but if you remember, back in this last drawdown here, back in from February down to April, let the motorcycle go by, that was also predicated on this Israeli conflict. Who knows what they're going to do? But if it gives you an opportunity to buy stocks, I like it. Some of the key names that people were looking at, that people have asked me about, are, of course, NVIDIA. We're going to look at Bitcoin, of course. But I'm going to get some hate for this, but I don't like NVIDIA to buy it. I mean, I like it. I own it. But, someone's asking me, is this a great place to buy NVIDIA? And if you just go back a few years, back to 2021, the key thing that you need to pay attention to is really, we're talking about tech stocks here. And so we've seen this big, giant meteoric rise. But what about this one right here that we can't really see? Let's put this into context. Let's go back to the bar replay to where this was, at the bottom of 2022. This looks about the same. Nice little yeet up. But as a tech stock, it had a pullback of about 66, almost 70%. And so what I told the friend that asked me this week was, is this a good pullback for NVIDIA? Is this a good pullback for Facebook? All the tech stocks and stuff like that. And my answer is really no. In order for me to get a discount on tech stocks, I want at least a 50% pullback. And so that's the quick, dirty answer there for that. But as far as things that I do like, AMD is going into the valley of risk. Tech stocks, I just think that we're going through a rotation right now. And if you really want to pick up tech stocks, you need to get that 50% drawdown from basically the all-time high that it came from. So right now, AMD, it came to a 50% retracement. It hit it and held it there back in April. But really, let's put Ichimoku back on the chart here. Where we go? Okay, there we go. So it came up and it hit and held the 50% from the top side at 184.23 perfectly. So in other words, I like to look at 50% levels for support as well as resistance. And that just, if it was going to go, it should have gone. That applies to all tech. And so AMD, solid close under that 50%. I don't like it. Now, one thing I did pick up this week was a pullback on another company that I like, which is Eli Lilly. That's LLY. And so this one was a nice pullback to the volume profile level of the prior consolidation from basically February to March. And so far it's held that level, 785. It's up a little bit today, but this is the kind of way I want to see a stock hold on LLY. And so that was the one that I picked up this week. What else we got to look through? TFC, that's another one I picked up a few weeks ago. Banks doing pretty well. Tesla, I'm getting interested. I'm getting interested probably into next week as we pull back into the 200 range. That's been the sort of the fabled number for 2 years now. Let me pause real quick before I start talking about Bitcoin and some questions. Are things actually coming through, Jen? Are you actually, is it buffering a little bit, but sound, is this actually working? We're going to be incredibly surprised if it is. Seems fine, really? Okay, well, way to go 5G. Even in rural Georgia. Okay. Yeah. So I stopped basically, for those that are kind of jumping in late, right out of high school, I went to this college called Emmanuel College. It's a private Christian college. And that's where I was driving back on the way home. And all of a sudden my 5G lit up and I've got, something that I can work with. So I think YouTube is probably a little bit behind. I think, yeah, it's about a few minutes behind there. Let me catch up here on the thing. Yeah. All right. Let's keep on going. Oh, thanks, Jeremiah. All right, cool. Get in stuff you want to look at because I'm how much battery am I at right now? I'm at 60% battery. I'm 20% down already. I got a gaming machine. It's not really meant for longevity, and my phone over there could overheat any minute. So let's go. So Bitcoin. Now, as you guys know, I'm a little bit of a bear on Bitcoin. There's been a lot of talk about how these weeks, these months, have just basically been holding a beach ball underwater. Okay, that's what a lot of people say, but a lot of Bitcoin maxis say, I should point out. If you just look at this in the simplest way possible, there's a couple of things that happen. I talk about this just about every week. If it was going to go, we should have had a solid close, a solid weekly close, a solid monthly close above that prior all-time high back in December 2021. Instead, it's just stubbornly refused. And now what do you have going on? You've got lower highs and lower lows. I mean, don't trade based on that, but I mean, that's just basically the simplest way to look at it. Now, where it is going into this weekend, we had that whole Trump pump when he was going to speak at the convention. But if you've been trading Bitcoin long enough, hello, Mr. Yellow Jacket, then you know that historically, Bitcoin conferences actually price goes down. Can't really pull up right now, but I've got a picture from the 2011 Bitcoin conference in New York where Bitcoin had been trading in the 20s, like 2-0, and it was then trading at $11 going into the conference, much to everyone's dismay. But I bought lunch with a Bitcoin. That was pretty fun. But I got to point this out too. If you look over here on the right-hand side, Monero, my favorite stable coin, which is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a privacy coin, but it is holding its value. This is a weekly chart. It's been just basically hanging out between 180 and 120 for the last, several years, 2 years basically. And then the thing I keep pointing out to people is doing the same thing that it did back in 2022 during the Bitcoin bear market. That's this right here I've got circled on the left. From December 2021 all the way up until January of 2022, a whole year where Bitcoin was just going down, 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 down until it recovered and the ETF hype really kind of took it off. Monero outperformed Bitcoin by about 150%. And what I've been trying to point out to people is since April, since we had that failure to go higher and higher, it has once again begun that. And I think this is a kind of an indicator in itself. The reason for this is because Monero still has a use case. It's used on the dark web. I don't know about all their cryptos. I don't know about NFTs. I don't know about smart contracts, but I do know that people use and transact to Monero, and that's the best justification I can give for it. So I think people have to pay attention to that. But as far as Bitcoin goes right now, if we go on the daily and we just do a simple, it's right in the middle of a consolidation, so all the VP levels are going to be right there. But as far as it goes for the move up, 61, let's call it 62, is basically that key 50% of this leg up. 50% of the leg down, it's right at it. Let's do a volume profile of the whole range. As I try not to get stung. There's two major levels of volume profile. One which it's fighting right now at 62,800. This is the level that I actually shorted several weeks ago into this last down move. Made a little bit off of that short. And then it's got one more leg to hold it up at that 50% level, which is going to be probably more powerful at 61,800. But below that is kind of sayonara. And so if the risk markets really get kind of dicey, unfortunately, people are not going to flee to Bitcoin. And it's a risk asset. So if a war does break out, I think it's going to get hit. So market's down, Bitcoin's down more. But there are supports for both of them. And so that's where we are going into this weekend. Market down, at supports. That's kind of the takeaway there. So, all right, let me see if I can do a lightning round of a few of these and this last bit of battery that I have left for you guys, because I really wanted to do this even though I was on the road. Let me put this to a side and let's see. I only got one screen because I couldn't find my cable. Let's see here. AbbVie. I think that's, yeah, let's take a look at that for you, Jim. I remember you posting that in the chat. So there's a lot of stuff breaking out, though. You got to take note of that. There's a lot of stuff that on the weekly and the daily are showing solid breakouts. I like it. I like it a lot. Where's some of our others? I think DFS. What did DFS close today? This was one where it was making a pretty solid breakout, but then they had a buyout announced, and I don't quite like it as much anymore. That's not quite as good. So not nearly as bullish about that. Was it Progressive? Was another one. It's interesting that these financial companies have been doing so well. This one was actually, I think I marked this up as a potential short with a stop above the high. Didn't take this week, but I think this is a weekly, by the way, so this will be a long-term sort of thing, but be interested to see what happens next week. Really, I need to digest this weekend, as everyone does, and you need to come out Monday, unless there's some blow off and we miss it. I don't think so, but be looking for opportunities this week. So far, some good stocks that I've got. Uh-oh, we're getting some slowness. Oh, no. All right, I think I'm back. Another kind of spike. Pfizer, You know, when people were like asking me, I think someone actually talked to me about this week about Iron Mountain because this has become like really popular on Instagram, and of course it is. If you look at this chart, of course people are going to be talking about this, but this is not the kind of stuff that you want to be talking about. I mean, if you the example I made to him was like, you remember EV stocks? You remember back in 2021 when everyone was talking about EV? That's how it started. This is how it's going. At the same time, remember when everyone was talking about how things were going the way of the dinosaur? Oil was going the way of the dinosaur, ExxonMobil. Yeah, that was the time to get into that. So social media is not a good way to make your investment decisions. In fact, if you inverse it, you might be better off. So that's why the two things that I looked at earlier this year, back in January, were Walgreens Boots Alliance. I'm out of that. Thank goodness. I got out when it broke the low back in April, and it just continues to tank, but that's what you do. But Pfizer, I mean, this is a very, very depressed stock that has finally started to turn up, and you're picking it up off the multi-year bottom. This is the kind of stuff I want to look at, as well as potential breakouts. So, like I said, continuation trades, bottom picks would be Pfizer. Continuation trades, nice pullback from a big bullish trend. That's LOY. And you got some breakouts out there. Let's look through a couple more, and then we're going to kind of call it. So Amazon. Oh, let me get through Jen's first. Yeah, we looked at DFS. Battery alert. HLT. Hilton. I don't like it. I don't like it how it's failed out. It's coming back into this level. Although it is holding this volume profile level from the previous consolidation, it's not really the kind of nice, clean pullback of LOY that I'm looking for. But it could be. It could be a good one. Could be a good one. Amazon, which I like very much. I really want to see what it did at its all-time high. So Amazon, it did clear that high, but it's having trouble struggling to get back up in there. But yeah, I just want a little bit more of a pullback. I want a little more fear on tech stocks. I do. I think someone said something about Coca-Cola doing a failed breakout this week too. No, actually Coca-Cola. See, okay, this is what you call this is what I've been kind of concerned might be happening, which is a sector rotation. When the market starts getting kind of fearful, it starts to rotate out of tech, which is high risk, and into consumer staples. Coca-Cola is the quintessential consumer staple. And so the fact that Coca-Cola is breaking out in spite of a down market, that does kind of sow the seeds of fear a little bit of a sector rotation. So Coca-Cola, big bullish move up. That actually I think was down today, but did close the week pretty solidly bullish. Philip Morris, again, another consumer staple, doing well. So we're definitely seeing a sector rotation. And when I get back to the office and I can do a video, we're going to talk about that a little more detailed. So let's go back through a couple more to finish things out. See if we got anything over there. Yeah, all right. Disney. Disney is not doing too well. The mouse is in a trap. In fact, it is in a valley of risk. Back down to try that low. So not a big fan of Disney right now. JP Morgan. T-Mobile is what this is brought to you by the way. That's breaking out. I guess nobody's going to cancel their cell phone. That's pretty good. A lot better than AT&T. Yeah, that's good. And JPM. Financials. Nice little pullback there. Ooh, I like that. I like that pullback to that volume profile level there. That might be good to look at next week. All right. T. Yep. Oh, we got to look at Intel. So Intel actually considered picking up today, well, before earnings tanked it because it was at a volume profile level where it closed at 29, but now it's just in free fall. I don't not want to pick it up, but I need to do a little bit more research, go back in time and see, okay, where's the fair level to get it here? So a little more research on that, but yeah, not very good results for Intel. They're laying off a bunch of staff, 15% of their workforce, which includes their research and development. So not good there, not good there. All right. Well, that was the emergency session. TLDR, I think we're at a buying level of opportunity. And, the market's closed right now, but do a little bit of research this weekend, guys. Find stuff that you like and see if you got any good opportunities. I don't like it in tech just yet because if this does continue down, tech is going to continue to get hit the most. But as you see, there's a lot of stuff in the boring stocks, the consumer staple stocks, they're actually breaking out against all-time highs. And so what that tells you is that this is not like a market-wide panic. This is a sector rotation. And tech is just, it's going to get hit because it's won the most, it's going to lose the most. And so I don't see this as an opportunity for tech yet. Opportunities for tech are minus 50% from the all-time highs, and we're just not there. I mean, we're talking about NVIDIA coming down to, let me do a little measurement here. NVIDIA coming down at least 50% would be down to the 60s, at least down to 60s, or even finding support here in the 40s, believe it or not. That is an actual opportunity. And I think you're going to get it if tech continues moving down and if tech does what it does. I mean, see, what about Microsoft? Microsoft is probably, I would say, one of the strongest out there as far as tech people that I talk to. I mean, it's down only, let's see, off its high, 12% versus NVIDIA. NVIDIA is 23%. I mean, that's just the nature of things. That's the nature of MetLife. Hang on, that's a big hit. Okay, all right. You know what? If you guys remember, this is something to catch up. This is profit-taking time right here. So we picked this up back in 2023, over a year ago, so long-term capital gains. But this is death. So MetLife is out. It's out. It's out. It's out. It's out. So need to make a decision on that on Monday. But yeah, that was a really nice, awesome 50% level at $50 a share that we picked up last year. And that right there could not be any clearer. That spike and failure, just a solid rejection of that high. You got to respond to that in some way. So didn't see that today, but that must have happened, just today. Earnings, yeah. Well, actually, you probably could have seen it the day before, right here. But yeah, that's not good. That's a little bit late on my part, but that's definitely a rejection. So, but yeah, a lot of good opportunities out there. Kroger, Jen's favorite. Again, consumer staple, not looking horrible. Not looking horrible. Home Depot, down a little bit. Let's go back to the weekly to take perspective. It's just kind of creeping up. So there's still nothing. The thing that's getting hit the most is tech, and if the market continues going down, it's going to get tech that hit the hardest. But I don't think this is a full market sell-off. I don't think we're in a bear market because you see so much performance of stocks. It's really just a sector-based rotation, and so that's my hot take. That's my hot take going into this. So I think I'm almost out of battery. Appreciate you sticking with me for this emergency session to kind of quell people's nerves. Do your research. Do some homework this weekend to kind of stay away from tech. I know it's enticing, but if you just wait, even if it's not this year, if you just wait, you'll get a 50 to 60% pullback on all the tech stuff that you like. Just remember that you liked it when that happens. No, everybody's thinking that it's garbage. The fact that so many people, sorry, I'm shaking it, so many people still want to buy tech, that makes me want to stay away. The people that are still optimistic about it, optimism is not a bottom. You got to think about that logically. When people are still optimistic about something, it's not the maximum fear and FUD that's going to be an opportunity. So think about that. Think about that. So, Troy Wisely, guys, and have a nice weekend. I'm going to get back on the road. Thanks for spending this Friday, and see you guys next time.